Hello guys and welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies, and in today's video, oh boy, I cannot wait to get into this. My thoughts on the Star Wars comics for 2020, these brand new issues. I have specifically been dying to get into the Darth Vader comic book, but then we also have that new Luke Skywalker comic book. And the issue that came out with that one today was just really interesting, and I gotta talk about both of them. And that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. Of course, it's been a while since we've been able to talk about Star Wars comic books because of the whole COVID incident, and I'm really happy that we are starting to get into some type of normacy. Of course, I probably just made up a word there, but you know what I mean. I cannot wait to get into the Darth Vader comic book, but I really want to talk about the Luke Skywalker comic book as well. So let's do the Luke Skywalker one first, shall we? Okay, so this is a really interesting comic series, and it's taking place, both of these comics are actually taking place after Star Wars Episode 5. And this is interesting, seeing both of these comic books back to back, because we get the story of both Luke Skywalker having to deal with the fact that he is the son of Darth Vader, and he doesn't completely believe it at this point, which is important because he's not going to get full confirmation until, of course, Episode 6, which takes place a year later after this. And then, right beside it, we have the Darth Vader comic book dealing with Darth Vader's feelings and the side of things. I mean, you gotta think, and I loved that panel that was in the first issue because it showed so much of what Darth Vader has had to have gone through by this point. We had, of course, Darth Vader see Luke Skywalker fall off that thing when he asked him to join him, and he looks down, and I love that scene where you saw Luke fall down, then you saw you saw Anakin's mother, and then Padme, and oh my god, that just shows everything that's going on in Darth Vader's head. You know, he's just lost everything, and the chance that he has to get his son back, he asks him to join him, he loses him again. You know, that's fantastic, and this is where Darth Vader goes on the whole hunt to find the history behind Luke, which is just something really interesting because in this entire series, he's dealing with, of course, his own past as he finds more information about his own past, you know, and him just dealing with it. It's a Darth Vader mask, but you could tell underneath that mask that he's probably just not in the best of moods throughout this entire comic book, and that's what I love about Darth Vader. While it is an expressionless mask, you can just simply write him, or in this case draw him as a comic book, you can simply just write him and you know exactly what he's feeling. You know, that's just fantastic when the Darth Vader mask shows no emotion at all. It's great. But when it comes to the Luke Skywalker side of things, oh boy. So, Luke Skywalker, well, he gets talked back into, and I'm going to give a quick synopsis of what's been going on in the story. He gets talked back into going to Cloud City. Leia wants to find more information about Han. Lando wants to find more information about one of his old friends. And Luke is hopefully going to find his lightsaber, but he doesn't know if he even wants to find the lightsaber because, of course, what has happened to him in the recent days, he's found out that his father's lightsaber is Darth Vader's lightsaber, you know? That's just incredible. And seeing that whole scene with him looking for it but not really knowing if he even wants to find it, I thought that was incredible. Now, the whole thing of him eventually giving up on the lightsaber, there's some parallels you can find to episode 8, and that's why they did it. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of that storyline, but to make things short, of course, he goes and saves Leia, and then he also has a vision of a female Jedi who apparently caught the lightsaber of Luke Skywalker, and he apparently needs to go and find her. The Force is guiding him to find her. And so in this issue, that's where the issue starts up again. In this issue, he goes to this weird planet, and it starts reminding him a little bit of Dagobah. It's really fun, really interesting, and eventually he falls into a couple traps, and what's really interesting is he finds her. She is scared of hunters, and he doesn't know why. Of course, we know why, and who it actually is, we have seen in an old Darth Vader comic book. I never thought that they would bring back this character. I can't remember her name at all, but I never thought we would bring back this character from the Mon Cala arc in the Darth Vader comic series. You see, in that arc, there was, of course, this Jedi who was trying to train some people, but he got killed by Darth Vader, and I guess I thought she got killed too. It never crossed my mind that she survived, but she did. Here she is, and here's Luke Skywalker. She has trapped him, and it's because she was worried that he was a hunter for Darth Vader. She was worried that he was, of course, a Inquisitor, and Luke Skywalker doesn't know any of this, you know? Luke Skywalker has heard the stories of the Great Jedi Knight and the times before the Empire and the Clone Wars, but he really doesn't know anything. And there's this little moment where, and I thought that this was so funny, he walks onto the sandy beach, and he's like, I love sand. And it's parallels to his father. He's nothing like his father. His father who hated sand, who hated Tatooine. Luke Skywalker didn't grow up hating Tatooine. Yes, he had a hard life, but he had family, he had love. Something that Anakin really did. Anakin didn't have a father figure. All Anakin had was his mother, and eventually it was his decision, but he was technically decided to go away from her, and when he came back to try to save her, she died in his arms. He hates sand. He hates anything to do with Tatooine because of the loss of his mother, you know, and it all has to do with that. And yes, Luke Skywalker has lost a lot, but he's lost a lot because of the Empire. He's lost the only family he's ever known, but he has fond memories, where Anakin Skywalker, I don't think, has fond memories. You know, that's just, it's interesting, the comparisons between Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker, the way they grew up. Same planets, but definitely two different stories there. And anyway, the Jedi, she eventually traps him. You know, he's using the Force, and I like the fact that he's using the Force just like his master Yoda has taught him and stuff like that. And what happens is really interesting with this comic book. She tells him the truth. She tells him about the Inquisitors, about Order 66, how all of the Jedi were murdered by the clones that they trusted, and how Order 66 to this day stands. I didn't know that. We all think that after Order 66, after the big humongous purge, that went away, but it didn't. It's still under law that if you see a Jedi, you are to shoot and kill. shoot and kill. You are to bring in Lord Vader and shoot and kill. That is the law. I did not know that. That's something interesting from this comic book. And of course, that's when he learns about the Inquisitors, these hunters for the Jedi Knights. But of course, their boss, the number one, is the scariest and the worst person ever. And you could just see on Luke Skywalker's face. He knows who it was before she even said the name Darth Vader. And then, of course, she wants to know more about him. So she starts reaching through the Force to find his memories. And he finds out that he is the son of Darth Vader. So he tries to drown him, just like father, like son, as Luke Skywalker is drowning. If you go on the other comic book, we got Darth Vader. You know, we're on Naboo. We're going down into some Gungan cities, Gungan memorials for what has happened with Queen Amidala. He faces his younger child on a statue, and he just, out of pure anger, destroys them. And of course, all he wants is information on Padme. You know, information on Luke. And it turns out that the reason why the shadows of Amidala has brought him here is because they want to get revenge for the death of their queen. And they believe Darth Vader killed her, which of course he has. The last thing they heard was Padme was going to go to Mustafar to see Anakin Skywalker. And then they heard that Mustafar is Darth Vader's domain. So they're like, you killed both of them, didn't you? And I love the fact that he turns on the lightsaber and like, yes. Yes, I have. I've killed both. You know, he's like, of course I have. And I'm going to kill you now. And then they pull up a giant fish trying to eat the place and drown Darth Vader, just like Luke is drowning. That's not a coincidence that they decided to do that with both of these comic books. And of course, big cliffhanger. You know that both Darth Vader and Luke are not going to die. I think Luke is going to either swim down, find a hole where the water's coming from and get out, or maybe he'll just jump through the crates. I don't know how he's going to do that without a lightsaber, but maybe use the Force and do something crazy with it. I don't know. And maybe talk her into helping him. They try to join the rebels, but she ends up dying in the comic book. I think that is a possibility. As for the Darth Vader one, well, obviously everyone's going to die. The droid will probably die too. It's just a droid. Darth Vader don't care at this point for droids. You know, it's not C-3PO. And I just think Darth Vader is just gonna swim out of there with no real problem at all. No real problem at all. But what's really going to be interesting is, what is he going to do now? I think he's going to eventually visit Padme's grave, and probably rejoice a little bit in the the refounding of his son. But at the same time, I think he's going to also probably annoy Palpatine, because if you remember in Episode 6, well, yes, Darth Vader was like, I'm going to get Luke Skywalker and rule the galaxy. I'm going to destroy Palpatine. But by Episode 6, he's like, I must obey my master. Why is that? Why is that? And that is a big change. I think he's going to... I really do think that he's going to be put in his place by Palpatine eventually, somewhere in this comic book, whether that be the next issue or in the next coming months of issues. How many issues will be coming out on this stuff? I think we have about 5 more issues when it comes to the Luke Skywalker. I could be wrong about that, but I think there'll be 5 more issues for that. And I can't imagine the Darth Vader one going any more than about six issues. I can't imagine it going any more than about 6 or 7 issues. But it could be longer. It could be longer for both of them. But those are my thoughts on this. I absolutely loved both of these comic books. Let me know down in the comments below. What did you think about these comic books? What did you think about what I had to have said about these comic books? Let me know down in the comments below. I am out. Bye. Boy, I love Darth Vader.